Hello, YouTube. Hello. Okay, people from YouTube can hear us now. Let me share my screen on the stream as well. Okay, so we have again like the last, or actually let me start. Does this thing have a built-in stopwatch? Hey, we have a stopwatch. Okay, so I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna be able to like overlay this on top of everything, but I'm just gonna put it. What do you mean? Why? I hate when it does that. Give me a second. Okay, that should be everything. So I'm gonna take a stopwatch and see how long it will take. So I'm not gonna look at any of the questions, just like the format is the same as the previous one we tried. So if there's a question about hey model something, then we have a question about okay make a logical schema. Then we have a thing about take some functional dependency questions. Somebody's echoing.
I
Olaf.
think it's Olaf, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And then we have a question about some SQL queries, which are probably a lot easier than the assignment, I'm going to be honest. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, so the conceptual model thing. It's about a summer vibes, probably. They organize summer camp. So we're gonna want to make a conceptual EER schema about this summer camp thing. Try to be as complete and efficient as possible. Model all primary keys and cardinalities. Comment your most important design choices and explain which describe data requirements or constraints could not be represented in your diagram. Okay, so we have quite a block of text, but that's fine. So Summer Vibes welcomes each year thousands of young campers from 5 to 17 years old in its facilities. For each camper, we register his/her unique ID, name, birthday, and nationality. Campers are asked whether their personal information can be used for company for future use. So this is an interesting thing because all this text from like this block of text is only about the camper. So we're gonna model that. Well, I'm gonna use my amazing modeling tool. And the reason I'm using Paint.net and not something like, I don't know, Vertigo or whatever the hell we could use for this, is because we need to be able to draw it. Because tomorrow on the actual exam we need to be able to actually draw the draw the figures ourselves, so we cannot make use of any tools there. I think maybe
Pretty sure you can actually.
They said we could, but
it might be slower for most people, so they don't recommend it.
Yeah, that's what they said. Okay. So let's see. For each camper, okay, so we're gonna make an entity called camper. Yeah, okay. So I think the entity was a square. I'm gonna have like a list next to me, or at least before the exam, of what everything looked like in EER modeling. But let's see. So we have a camper, and they have a few things, namely, and these fields are, I think, were like this. Oh. Yeah, okay. This looks good. So a camper has 4 properties. Wait, was it 4 or 3? Let's have a look. So they have an ID, name, birth date, and nationality. ID, name, birth date, nationality, and another field, namely campers are asked whether or not personal information can be used in a company for future use. So we have the unique ID. This ID is a private key, or primary key. I've been doing too much. I've been working on my server recently, so I'm gonna make that mistake a few times. It's a unique ID, so that's something that we can use as identifiable. So this is the private key, or primary key. I think to make a primary key, we underline the name. So this should be correct. Again, at any point, if I make a mistake, like stop me, tell me what I did wrong, because I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes, and otherwise other people are gonna make the same mistakes, and I don't want that. Okay, so what else do we have? We have their birth date. We have their nationality. Oh, and their name. And let's call this personal information permission. And this is just a boolean, like whether or not their personal information is allowed to be used.
Hey, sorry, I have a question.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna upload the recording of this today or like very early tomorrow morning? Because I can't be here right now, but I do want to watch it before the actual database exam.
Hopefully I'm gonna do the thing in one go. Then I don't need to splice or edit anything together. Then I don't need to do any editing, and then I can just upload the file in one go. Then it will be online tonight, before tonight. However, if like my recording server crashes or breaks or whatever, I'm gonna have to edit the footage together, and that often takes a while because my computer isn't amazing. Then it might be like tomorrow morning. I'm gonna try to get it out at least before tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks then.
Okay, have a good one. Okay, camper operator. Okay, so everything before here we have done, and like this 5 to 17-year-old, that can be a constraint on another level. But I don't think we can put that in here just yet.
In the actual exam, you have to keep a list with all the things you can't model, right?
Yeah, they said it here as well. They say, comment your most important attachment and explain which described data requirements or constraints cannot be represented in your diagram. Hell, let's make a list. So we've got 5 to 17-year-old limit. So let's say here unachievable constraints. Let's call it unmodelable because they are achievable. So we'll have a list here. The camp only has tents for 2 campers each. The system stores with whom each camper shares accommodation. 2 weeks before a visitor joins his camp, he/she receives an email with information about their accommodation info and a confirmation link. Okay. Alright, so we'll split it off here. And this part I'll put between brackets because this is just an implementation thing. We cannot model this. Let's say here emails being sent out. Okay. Each camper shares accommodation. I'm gonna read on a little bit, see what the best way would be to do this, because you could do this multiple ways. You could have like a relationship between 2 campers saying like shares tent with, or you can have an entity tent with 2 relations to campers, namely, or like a relation to a camper saying sleeps in. So we can have 2 ways. Let's see what would be best later on. The company has staff members that are divided into 3 categories: C1, C2, and C3. A unique ID is assigned to each member of the staff together with his/her name and age. The activities that each staff member from category 1, C1 are organized further in the database. But, June Sun, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. Let's see. So, specifically, we store the title, capacity, and minimum age required for each activity. Each activity is owned by the organizing staff member from the C1 category and has a numeric identifier for the staff member. Numeric identifier unique for the staff member. Okay, each camper can participate in any activity which takes place in the facility. A facility has a unique code, short description, and an area given in square meters. Okay, so that's gonna be the part about activities. System keeps track of C1. The system keeps track of the C2 employees that are responsible for each facility in the camp, while it also records personal use of facilities by campers.
Vanilla Coke, please mute.
I server muted him. Send me a PM in 5 minutes when you're no longer like blowing your mic, and I can either unmute or you mute yourself and I'll unmute you. Send me a DM. System keep track of C2 employees that are responsible for each facility. So up here it says staff responsible to take care of the facilities. Makes sense. Let's see. It also records personal use of facilities by campers. So the date and time of usage are recorded in the case. In addition, we want to store campers that have caused damage to any of the facilities together with the fine they have to pay. Finally, Summer 5 want to be aware of which young children each C3 staff member is responsible for. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. What we're gonna do is, first off, I'm gonna expand this a lot. So I'm gonna say canvas size. You can do this in real life too. Just grab some more pieces of paper, lol. So let's make it 2K by 2K. That will give us enough space. So we have campers here. We also have, let's start by modeling a staff member. So we'll have a staff member. And a staff member is forced to be either one of 3 things. So we'll create a circle here with the D in it to say that it's like either one of these. You cannot be more than one. Okay. Then we'll add 3 fields here, saying one to be C1, one for C2, one for C3. So, okay. A staff member is either a C1, a C2, or a C3 staff member. I'm really happy that this is going to be the second to last time I'm doing this, because I really don't like doing this. And I'll make little U arrow type thing to show that the staff member is either one of these. Okay, now we've put up the hierarchy. Let's see what else we can do. A unique ID is assigned to each staff member of the staff together with his/her name and age. Okay, so we will create 3 fields, namely name, age, and ID. Name, age, and ID. And the ID is unique. Okay. So ID is unique. And these are all connected to the staff member. Okay. Let's see. So we have this part taken care of. I don't think anything else is ever mentioned about camps. Or only like the 10th. So I think I'm just gonna really quickly make a tiny field here. Oh, a tiny field here saying camp or tent, and it has exactly 2 let me actually move this one over a bit. Okay, beautiful. I am an amazing artist. Thank you very much for all your support. Hello? Why is it not letting me fill bucket that? Okay, now it is. So a tent, let's see, a relationship we should use this one for, I think, right? So you can say sleeps in. So a camper sleeps in a camp. and a tent is being slept in by a camper. Does a camper have to sleep in a tent? I think so. Therefore, this is a double line thing. And furthermore, a tent has to be slept in by a camper. But, does it though?
It's probably possible that you have like less campers this time, right? So it
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
isn't.
So you can have tents without campers, but every camper sleeps in a tent. So,
Shouldn't the tent also have an ID?
yeah, probably. Well,
You can also just connect camper to camper, and like the relation lives with.
yeah, with
Something like
sleeps
that.
with. I think
Is
it's.
it allowed?
I think.
Is it allowed that one camper is alone? So like, not
Well,
sleeping with anyone.
I don't think so because it says they only have accommodations for 2 people, and either you sleep there or you're not there at all.
I
Then
mean,
a
I guess if they have 2 tents and there are 2 people, they could give both of them their own tent, right? But
Yeah, but
that's
that's not
looking
within
for
our use
edge
case.
cases, I think.
Yeah.
I think the more edge cases and odd amount of people, right? There is a possibility that you can't always sleep with 2. There's a 50% chance that you have an odd amount of campers.
just deny the people if
Yeah,
they're
so
not allowed.
yeah, you actually do
Yeah,
need.
so
Wait,
you
so
can
let's,
because there's
let's have a look at
even
the
amount
wording.
of people at the moment.
Let's have a look at the wording. They say, "Thus the system stores with whom each camper." This is really badly written. Which whom each camper shares accommodation. So basically, they're just plain out saying, okay, just have a rhombus with itself. So we'll have sleeps with. That's a bad name because it can be seen as sex having sex. Haha. No, fuck off. Okay, so a camper sleeps with themselves. Well, not them. Well, maybe.
The wording is just getting better and better, man.
Yeah, love it. And one camper sleeps with only a max of 1 camper, but it doesn't have to be, so it's not double lined.
What did they do in assignment 2 or 1 when we had to do the fence player might have a partner, might not? Just copy paste that thing, right? Does anyone
Yeah.
remember how they did it exactly?
I think that's like exactly like this. Like we just had a thing that was with itself. Okay, so now we have a camper that can sleep with a camper, and we can add like a thing that we have like in the list of things we cannot do. Campers can sleep with themselves in our model. Let's actually move this over a bit. Put it like up here. And we'll move it back later, but... Okay, so now we have emails being sent out, the 50-17-year-old limit, and campers can sleep with themselves in our model. Then we have this part fixed. Then we have the company... yeah, I'm getting a DM, or a DM in the general VC channel, somebody's sharing how they did it. So that's basically what we did. Yeah, we did that in the same way, except that in our thing, we, instead of saying 0.1, we draw the line not double to say that it's not mandatory. I think. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, so we fixed this part. We have the company. How long are we busy? We've been busy for 15 minutes, no pressure. The company has staff members that are divided into 3 categories. Staff responsible for organizing activities, staff responsible for taking care of facilities and stuff. Take care of small children. Each ID is assigned to each member of the staff together with his/her name and age. So we have ID, name, and age done. Okay, what else? Activities that each staff member from C1 are organizing is stored in a DB. Okay, 6. So let's make a new thing called activity. Also, again, for the people who are like watching this and do not have much experience with the notation, do not follow this as a guide, because there are some things different in my thing. Because I think they might actually be using this shape instead of a square box, and I'm not sure if they're gonna complain about that. But I'm gonna be consistent and keep it as a square box. But yeah, I don't know.
Don't we have to hand draw these?
Yeah, we do.
Are they really gonna complain that it's like a right angle instead of like a slightly smoother angle?
You never
really
know.
doubt
I
they'll be that
surely
angle.
hope not.
If they're gonna be that anal, everyone's gonna feel probably.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyways, the activity. So we have a field activity here, and the activity is organized by. So we can create a rhombus called organized by, and not only that, but this is also a weak entity because you cannot have an activity that's not organized by anyone. So let's see. We have it like this, and then we have a no. Then we have a rhombus here saying organized by. Probably too small of a rhombus.
It should also be a double line.
Yeah,
That should also be double line.
Yeah, I'm very bad at creating proper shapes in Paint. So
Wait, why double?
because it's a weak relationship. That's not the right word. Does anyone know what the right word is?
I think it's defining.
Identifying, I think.
So yeah, identifying relationship.
It's an identifying relationship. So we'll say is or organized by. Okay. And then these lines are double because you cannot have an activity that's not organized, and this one is single because you can have a staff member that hasn't organized anything yet. And let's see, so an activity is organized by only one staff member, but one staff member can organize multiple activities. I think I got the order of those two correct. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, shouldn't it be the other way around? So, like, there should be one, I think, next to C1 and multiple to activity. But I'm not sure, so. But I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of this. See, and this is why I'm doing this with you guys. So we'll have the N here and one here.
Because that means one staff member can control many activities or organize many activities.
Yeah, but an activity can be organized by multiple staff members, right?
Not in this case.
If you do it like this, then they can't. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They should be able to.
Let's see. Each activity is owned by the organizing staff member. So here it says singular.
Yeah, okay.
Which has a unique numeric identifier for that staff member. So we will have a field here called a field here called let me change that brush width real quick. A field here called activity ID, probably something like that. And that is a partial key. I'm not sure if that is like the correct naming.
No, never mind.
Okay.
Key?
Okay, so we know that this thing is only identifying if it also has the staff member to go with it. Yeah.
Right, but I'm actually curious, why aren't you making C1 total participation? Because what's the point of it being C1 if it doesn't organize any activities?
Well, you can be a C1 staff member that just joined and hasn't ever organized any activities yet.
Yes, but then they could move it into another category so that it is useful in some way.
Well, yes, but every staff member is forced to be either C1, C2, or C3. So I think it would make more sense that that if you're going to be a staff member who organizes stuff, then you can be an C1 even if you haven't organized anything yet.
No, okay, yeah, I guess that's.
I mean, you can be a new member or something,
exactly.
new stuff.
Because otherwise,
Okay.
when you join the company, you would already have to start planning a thing. Otherwise, they cannot put you in the database.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Okay, so let's see. Activity, store the title, capacity, and minimum age. Okay, cool. So we store the title, capacity, and minimum age. Okay. Each activity is owned by the organizing member of C1 category and has a numeric identifier for the staff member. Yep. Each camper can participate in any activity. So we can have a rhombus between these two called participates in. And oh, that's not an identifying thing or anything, that's just... Dude, don't we love some nice, high quality, crisp level of editing. Okay, so a camper participates in an activity, and this is end-to-end, because multiple campers can participate in one activity, and and an activity can be visited by or participated in by multiple campers. Okay. Each camper participates in activity. Okay, yeah. Then we have a facility. Oh. A facility. I'm gonna put.
Do activities have to have total participation from by campers? Because there's no point in making an activity without a camper, right?
Well, you can start like when you're starting out organizing it. It doesn't have to have one yet.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah,
it could also just be really unpopular. No one wants to do it.
Exactly. Like, you know,
Would be really shitty, but that's possible.
Probably shouldn't have said that joke on camera. Hey, guys from ADS, if you see this, we love you. Okay. System key track of... Oh, yeah. So we're looking at facility. And a facility has multiple fields, namely it has unique code, a name, and a short description. Oh, a short description and an area, So we have name. Does the facility have a name? I think so. Yeah, a code, name, short description, and area. So name, code, which is the primary key, description, and area. How much time do we have for the exam tomorrow? Anybody know?
90 minutes.
I don't know half hours, yeah.
Oh, poggers. Okay, so a facility. So let's see. The code is the primary key. A facility is, and that's why it's good we're doing this, because this can take a long time if you're not used to it. So I'm going to create two rhombuses. One saying a facility is owned by. Owned by and host in. So a facility, an activity is hosted in a facility. You can have. Okay, wait. So let me first connect these. So facility has to be owned by a staff member. I think, yeah. And an activity has to be hosted in a facility. But a facility does not necessarily have to host any things, and you can also have a new staff member, like we said before. One facility can host multiple activities, and an activity can only be hosted in one facility. Okay, and a facility is owned by, or let's see, so a C2 level, what's it called, staff member owns.
Is it owned by or just like organize or facilitate it. I didn't see anything related to owned by in the
I think managed by might be a better
yeah,
one.
Yeah, managed by or responsible by, something like that. That's a good one. Thank you. So we'll call this managed by.
That's not managed.
The part where it says owned by.
Managed.
The part where it says owned by is for it says the activity is owned by the organizing staff member. This is where we wrote organized by. I guess that's like the same thing.
I can't hear you properly. You keep cutting out. Oh, this one. You mean each activity is owned by the organizing staff member, but we put organized by. Yeah, I don't think the wording for this matters too much. But yeah, if we have time in the end, we'll change it. Okay, so one person. Okay, wait. So one facility is managed by. Does it say that it can be? Yeah, it says employees that are responsible for each facility. So we'll say multiple people can manage one facility, and one facility. Wait, I always mess up with cardinalities.
Couldn't one employee also work at multiple facilities? Like, for example, for the pool, they wouldn't have one cleaner just do the pool, right? You'd probably do like pool on one day and then something else on another day. So it wouldn't be end to end.
Yeah, okay, good point. What were C3? C3 staff were responsible for taking care of small children. Okay, so we have done this far. So we only need this part. And we're only a third to our time. No worries, guys, no worries. System keeps track of C2 employees that are responsible for each facility in the camp, while it also records personal use of facilities. Date, time, and usage are recorded. Okay, so this is an interesting one. So this part. Okay, so a facility can be. And I've not much used this this notation yet. Jesus fuck, I'm gonna have to draw a big ass line. Okay, wait. So what I'm gonna do, and correct me if this is not allowed, but I don't see much better way. And I'm gonna draw a line like this, and then going like whoop, and then all the way to the camper.
It isn't managed by like Bove's total participation, or
No, you can have a staff member that doesn't manage anything.
oh, okay. Wait, isn't it the other way around then? Or?
I mean, couldn't you also have a facility where there's no one attached to that, like manages it? For example, if they just fired someone.
I don't think so. It says.
I think it would be. It would be bad.
For each facility in a camp, so every facility is managed by someone.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to figure out a nice way where I can connect this one to that one. But because of our spacing is pretty unfortunate, but it doesn't matter. We'll put don't do this too much. It's drawing like big lines because it's gonna get onoverzichtelijk, unmanageable really quickly. But that's all right. So we will have used by, and we will have a facility can be used. Oh shit! A facility can be used by, and by God, is this not going to be pretty? Line. Line. Okay. So a facility. Well, let's say one facility can be used by one. Okay, we're talking very much about that specific date and time. So let's say multiple campers can use one facility, but one facility can be.
Can't they use multiple facilities? Because like it says, shouldn't we do M to N? Might be safer.
But if
Sure.
but they cannot host, they cannot run multiple facilities at the same time, right?
No, but they can use multiple facilities at the same time.
Shouldn't it be a ternary relationship with facility camper and then a entity called usage or something?
I don't think it would need to be ternary because they're like.
Because you also have to store the date and time.
Well, yeah, but we can do that by saying. Let's actually do that first, real quick. Then, we can change this to 2. We can have like. Yeah, okay. I never realized how much of a thing time limit would be within the exam, but it's definitely gonna be a thing. So date and it's only the date and time. Okay. Here I with drawing 3 circles. So we'll say date time, and this can be connected to the use by. So relationship can have their own fields as well. It's just that we don't do it often, but they totally can. And now in every time you hire a facility, should you be able to hire multiple at the same time? Like, should you be able to say, "Hey, I'm gonna take the pool and the park"? I think so, yeah.
Wait, why?
Why?
That's so weird.
Like maybe if a staff member does it, like I need both of these activities because I don't know, have an ops or whatever.
That's more of a question of like, does your park allow that?
I mean, is the reason why campers should be able to reserve the pool so only they can use it, or is it more a general they use this thing?
This is more of a hey they or well, it is yeah, it's the personal use of facilities. So the use of facilities outside of activities. So when you want to use a basketball court without having a staff member like host an activity there. So it's a way to go from a camper to a facility without having a staff member and an activity involved. We can the end all the way over here. You can definitely have multiple campers like doing this at the same time, because otherwise you'd have to create an entity for every camper that does that. Let's just say you can use one facility at the same time.
Good question.
Yep.
Why'd you put daytime as a single attribute?
Why not? You can have like the entity date. Like in SQL, there are multiple ways you could do this. You could theoretically store like a date and a time, but you could also have like a timestamp. So there is this field in the database where you can have like
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that
makes sense.
Okay. The thing is, they only say the date and time of usage. So the thing I'm doubting is, should we have like an entry time and a leaving time? But they only say the date and time of usage. So I think they just want one date in there. Okay, so we need 2 more things. Summer 5 want to be aware of young children each C3 staff member is responsible for. Okay, so I'm gonna do that by having another really long line. So C3 members are responsible for campers. So we can create a rhombus here.
Just a quick question.
Yep.
What's the difference between M and N?
If you used N on both sides, then you can only have like one per. Let's grab an example. So we have here the N managed by M facilities. If you had N here, you can only have either one person manages one facility, 2 people managing 2 facilities, 3 people managing 3 facilities, etc.
Oh, I see.
So it's the same as like when you have a relationship between X and Y, you can say like Y equals to 3X, but if you say X equals to 3X, then that's like something different.
Yeah, I see. So just on one side we need to put M, and it doesn't matter on which side.
Yeah. So
Right.
there's no actual difference between N and M other than they are different than each other.
All right.
Okay, so this is takes care of, and should one camper have multiple caregivers and like each C3? I know for a fact that each C3 should be able to manage multiple people, because otherwise it's gonna be really expensive. But
I think one camper camper should have one baby, like not like caregiver. Yeah, it makes more sense. I feel like.
Yeah. So we
For
should have-
simplicity, just write down you limit one camper only has one staff member that takes care of him or her.
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
that
you can
should
have
be the other way
and you can also have multiple, like a staff member can take care of multiple people, but every person only have one staff member taking care of them.
But you might have to put that into comments that you specifically only want one person responsible for a certain camper.
But wait, isn't it right now that n C3 care of sorry, one camper has n caretakers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should be the other way around, right?
Yeah. I'm making a lot of mistakes with that. That's something like.
Oh, it's fine. This is super confusing always. It's like.
Yeah. I just hope I'm not making it worse for you guys. I should definitely have selected a bigger brush size. N. Yeah, N campers have one caregiver. One caregiver can have N campers. Seems good. We want one C3 to be able to take care of multiple kids. Every kid should only have one C3. Like that. Okay, and then the last thing is we want store campers that have caused damages to any of the facilities together with the fine they have to pay. Okay, so we've done this one. So this is the last thing we have to do. Woo! We're only almost halfway through our time. Woo! Okay, so let's create a fine entity. And let's create that over here. I am so sorry for the people who have to check this. Like when I'm actually gonna be making it. Fine, and a fine is so damage to well, it says to any of the facilities, so I don't think we necessarily have to store in which facility it is. Yeah, if they wanted that, they should have put it in ICBA.
I think you can just do a relation to facility, like fine or something like that, or damaged, and then just add attributes to it. I mean, it's the same thing, technically.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing, but I wasn't sure that was like required or not. Let's say fine, and then we'll have a thing caused by, and you know what? Why not? Let's do a inside or like inside of. So we'll have caused by. Dude, I should be a graphic designer, I swear. So a camper can cause a fine. I swear to God, I don't know if you guys know that PogChamp meme, but I cannot look at the word fine anymore without thinking of it. Okay.
Okay, fine. I guess you are my little PogChamp.
Come here.
Come here sounded so sad. Come here. Okay, a camper. Well, one camper can cause multiple fines, and multiple fines can be caused by multiple camper or one fine can be caused by multiple campers. You know, if you
shouldn't. No, sorry. Shouldn't the fine be a weak entity? I mean, it cannot exist if no one creates it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And can one fine be caused by multiple campers, or does every camper have his individual fine?
However, wouldn't this mean that that the part of the primary key of camper would have to be caused by, which is not actually the case?
What do you mean?
Well, a weak entity is an entity whose primary key also contains a relation that's from another entity.
Yeah, you're right.
But then we would have like a fine ID that is partial key together with the camper ID, right? That's what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure because they don't. What we could also do is just have a relationship between camper and facility called cost fine in, and then have that thing have. Nah, that doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah,
No,
I think
it's-
that's it.
I
would say that this is how we should do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm thinking Like it doesn't have an ID now. Like the fine doesn't have an ID, so
Yeah,
it
exactly.
doesn't have anything identifiable.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think the relation between.
I mean, it's identifiable by who the fine is caused by, right?
Yeah, but then
The ID
one
of the
person can
camper.
only be have one fine.
Ooh, that is true.
I think a relationship between camper and facility might be better.
Yeah.
Or add an ID and then put it in the comments.
We can make the fine like a field of the relationship when we make the relationship between the camper and the facility, maybe.
Okay. So fine in. Let's say find in. So we'll have a relationship between camper and said facility. And create a little whoop. And this thing also has an attribute, namely the fine itself, like the amount. The issue is then that we cannot have multiple people, or like a person creating a fine in a facility for the second time for the same amount.
But you can put something like a date there, then the date should be like different.
Yeah, that's true. We can put a date there, even though it's not necessarily in the thing. We'll say that it doesn't make any sense without it.
Make it daytime. These are kids. They can definitely wreck 2 things in one day.
That is true, especially when you're looking at teens. So we'll have a date time and the fine amount. Fine amount. I should definitely, like, Disney already hire me. Okay, and the last thing we should think about is the cardinality, but this end to end, because you can cause a fine in multiple facilities and you can have multiple fines within a facility. Oh, dude, this is like, oh my god. So we will create this as, wow, okay. Okay, guys, we did it.
Wait, I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
In the question, they're like, be sure to model the primary keys. Have we done that now?
Yeah, because every thing itself, so every camper, staff member, facility activity,
Yeah.
has either a primary key or a partial key here. That's like a primary key combined with the C1 ID.
Okay, thanks.
And the cardinalities, well, this one has 2 cardinalities, this one has 2, this one has 2, this one has 2, this one has 2, and this one has 2. Yeah, all seems good.
Also, one question: would it be correct if I put like one activity can take place in multiple facilities? For example, they can play football in the beach and in the field.
You mean at the I guess it would be. I don't think they would be.
I mean, like what we did right now is also correct. It's just like different interpretation.
Yeah, it's just like that. That's an opinion thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the people are recommending that that I use like lucid chart during this thing, and like I guess I could, but the thing is, I want to be able to hand draw them if I need to. So, for example, if my lucid chart doesn't work, and I just wanted to get some practice in with that, so that's why I did like this. And I'm probably gonna hand draw them.
Does someone know with lucid chart like how to do partial keys?
That's a good one.
Yeah, like
You can underline every second letter. That works.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass,
Oh,
but you can do it.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. I might genuinely bust out the paint.net for the exam as well. Like, this is not pretty, but it works. And if this is like, if I can.
Why wouldn't you use lucid chart in that case?
Because
I was just writing along, and it's definitely possible to fit on one A4 paper. But it's hard if you make a mistake. So like, I made find an entity first, and now I've got a lot of scribbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works best if you have like a tablet with a pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Or you can just do it on a piece
let's
of
just say it's
paper.
personal preference. You can use lucid chart if you want to. You can not use lucid chart if you don't want to. It's up to you.
I mean, can you do the distinct thing in lucid art? Because I don't think for the first one we wanted to use the distinct one, which you have in staff member, and we couldn't find the error, for example.
Oh, this.
Oh yeah, that isn't in Lucidchart.
Yeah, this is.
It is. It is in Lucidchart. You can.
It is. It's like weird to find.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, you just have to add it like UML
Where?
or things. You can add your own shapes, and there are a list with. I don't remember where it is, but
I'm gonna
wait.
continue with the exam and continue this thing afterwards because we are already we only have 14 minutes left. Okay. So we are
I
being
can
asked
send
to
it
make
in
a
a
relational
general
model
voice.
for a database to keep track of soccer match details. For each match, we store the date that takes place, start date, final score. It also has a unique ID. I'm reading through this like in one go, by the way. We also store the participating teams with their full name, unique to each team, city, origin, and the trainer's name. We store the name and the surname of each player, a combination of which can be used to distinguish them. So this is like a combined key, and each team with its date of birth and main position. In addition, we keep track of which players belonged in the past to which team, and we store the date and starting and end date of the contract. For each match, we store the referee with first name, surname, city, and region of birth. Each match has exactly one referee. A match takes place in a stadium where for each stadium we keep track of its identifying name, capacity, and coordinates. Okay, so let's start off with what we see for each match. So we have a database called match, and every match has date. It has a start time and a final score, and also a ID, or maybe call it match ID. I don't know. Otherwise it'll be match.id, so that's fine. Okay, then we have we also started participating teams. So we have a team which that's italic. With their name unique for each team. So and we should underline the keys. So name is unique for each team. I'm going through it really fast. If you cannot keep up, just tell me, but we don't have much time left, and I kind of want to get it done within the 1 hour 30 minutes. City, let's say city of origin, and trainer name. Theoretically, you should make these bold, so I'm going to do that. We also store the participating teams. Wait, we did that one. We store the name and the surname of each player. So we have player with name, surname. And I'm going to make this one big key. I really like the fact that you cannot have multiple people with the same exact name. I'm not sure if this is like the correct notation, but I cannot find any other. If anyone knows a notation that's like better than this one, just tell me. Okay. In each team with this date of birth and main position. Now we have a choice of either. I think the best thing would be to have like a place in.
For the composite key,
Yeah.
do you have to put it in brackets? Isn't it just enough to underline both without putting it in brackets?
Yeah, that's probably fine.
I think we use brackets. I remember like in one of the lectures, but I'm not sure. Might be safer option to use both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have to use brackets.
I don't remember using brackets, but
I think they care more about consistency than exact notation, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna keep it like this. See, it's probably good enough. So we'll have a place in, which is a foreign key to team name. Okay, that makes sense. We store the name and the surname in each team with its main position. In addition, we keep track of which player belong to which teams. Oh, okay, cool. Let's actually make a thing called contract, and in there we no. In there we so we have a reference to player name and team name, and player name is a reference to player name. Okay. What if we have player name, comma, player surname, comma, team name? And player name is a reference to player name. Player surname is a reference to player surname. And team name is a reference to team name. Dude, I love my my consistency in naming stuff. And then we also have a start date and end date. And talking about consistency, let's put capital letters here. How's my recording doing? Hello, people from YouTube. Hello.
But does team name then needs to be like included in the key of contract?
Oh yeah, it is.
But does it need to be? Quite honestly, I'm not sure.
Well,
yeah, definitely, because a player can have multiple contracts, right?
Yeah.
Like after each other.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Shouldn't
actually,
start
I'm not even
date
sure if
also
this
be in there?
is because this model actually does not allow us to have a to play on a team multiple times. So, like, imagine a player that plays for Feyenoord, they go back to Ajax, then goes back to the Feyenoord. That would not be allowed. And
I think it's better to use start date as part of the key. Since you don't want
what
two
a fucking
contracts.
key, my guys! Oh my god!
Since you don't want two contracts at the same time.
Yeah,
But
like,
then you don't need team name, right? Because you can't start a contract with two teams at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. I think it would make sense to have it in there, but at the same time, it's not quite the minimal key then.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys
I guess
think?
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So we have
Why
contracts.
can't you just create a key like foreign key player, which refers to the primary key of player, and primary key of player is a composite key name, comma surname.
Yeah,
then you have one field, and you have like two fields right now. So why couldn't we just do like one field which refers to the composite key?
Yeah, but we cannot have like we cannot have that because you cannot have one field which refers to two fields because the values in that one field and those two fields has to be the same then, but that's not possible because it's one field, not two.
You mean I cannot refer to the composite key in this way?
I don't think you could. No.
Okay.
Because otherwise you would have to store like maybe if it was like a composite field, but I don't think that would make much sense. I don't know if anybody else thinks it does. Please let me know. But
okay, yeah, thanks.
I'm getting a DM from Honda Civic 2001 asking me why would you not make the key minimal by removing the team name. In this case, I guess it's more of a a principle thing, because it makes sense that for every contract to be unique, you should include the player name, the team name, and the start date. But at the same time, it indeed is not. I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, I don't want them to complain that we're not using the minimal key. That could be. So you know what? I'll take it out. It doesn't hurt necessarily. Not like it's better or worse like this. Okay.
If we take it out, do we have to mention in the comments that we couldn't keep track of which player belonged to which team in the past?
Well, it's not taken outside of the entire contract. It's just that it's not part of the.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so and then for each match we store the referee. So we'll create a thing called we store the referee with first name. Each match exactly one. Okay, let's have a field called referee, and the referee has a surname, which is the primary key, a first name, or let's just call it name for consistency's sake, First, city and region of board, and let's see. We store the referee with first name, surname. Well, I guess in this case we can just say referee, which links to referee or referee surname. A metric exactly one referee. A metric placed in a stadium. In each stadium we keep track of its identifying name. So let's create a thing called stadium. And for each stadium we keep track of its identifying name. So it has an underlined name. It has a capacity. And it has some coordinates. I don't know why these guys would like put coordinates of your fucking stadium inside of a thing instead of just the address, but I digress. And then we have...
I don't want to be fussy here, but actually, can't one player have multiple contracts with the same start date? Like, for example, if he, I don't know, signs a contract with one team, but at the same time he gets loaned to another team?
Well, a player... I do not know jack shit about football, so if this is correct, then we'll have to change it up.
Maybe you can add it as like a comment, like, we assume here that it's not possible to have multiple contracts at the same time.
I mean, is anyone here into the football world? Like, is that a thing that you have two contracts if you get loaned out?
I mean, you can get loans, but I think that's just thing between clubs and not between the club you're loaned to. But I'm not sure.
Aren't you still an employee of your former club then, though?
It doesn't really matter as long as we've taken it into account. Like,
yeah, to get to contracts with the same starting date. If this is too much of an issue, the designer of the schema should create an contract ID which acts as primary key. That way you can't have overlap. Because even if we have like the first name, last name, start date. Well, okay, not exactly if we take like team name into account as well.
Can't we actually just add something like contract ID without it being mentioned in the exercise?
I'm not sure. I don't want to deviate from the text too much.
I mean, yeah, that's right.
I think you could, with the first part, you could add extra stuff as long as you explained why you did it. Like you could add, for example, an ID if you said, "Yeah, I used it to keep track of something."
Yeah.
That was allowed according to the TAs.
Yeah, fair. I'm just gonna put this in here as a comment. Okay, we're halfway through the test and we only have 30 minutes left. Let's go. Okay. Isn't this like the one where they made mistakes? Yeah, okay. So guys, they did an oopsie. M actually refers to F, not M refers to MF or MP or whatever they said. So as you can see, like first they had this, but M does not refer to MP. MY refers to P and M refers to F. So yeah, they made a typo. Okay. Determine whether each of these following attributes can be candidate key or not. Briefly explain why. This, no. Because we need both M and Y for P. Yes, we can deduce all info from just M. No, keys don't. Well, no. Did they make this bold? What? Okay. Why is this in Karimba math format? What? Calibri. No, we can't get P from this without Y. State whether this relate. But do you guys understand this?
By the way, why did you say like for the B part? Yes, we can deduce all info from just M. For like P, we need.
Sorry, and Y.
We also can't determine. No, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, this was a typo on my end. It should have been M and Y, because with M and Y we can deduce P, F, and indirectly C. State whether
So
the
with
relation.
So with M and Y, you mean you can use any subset of M and Y to get the other
No.
attributes.
We
So
can-
like to
we
get
can-
F, you have to use M, but not Y.
Well, no, not quite. We can only deduce the rest of the information if we have M and Y.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
In C, we also can't determine Y, right?
Yeah,
With M and
exactly. No, we can't get P from this without Y, and we cannot get Y from this as well. Let's actually add that, and we can't get Y from this either. Okay, state whether the relation refig is in 1NF, 2NF, or 3NF. Briefly explain why. 1NF, yes, there is no... what are they called? Multi-valued attribute?
composite attributes.
Isn't it there's no array?
No, there's a difference between multi-valued and composite, I think.
Yeah, I think we're talking about
There
multi-valued
are,
because you
they
cannot
also
store
call it
arrays.
like there are only atomic values or something.
Yeah, only atomic values. That's a better wording.
Yeah, there are only. Yeah.
Atomic
Does-
values, and every value depends on the or on the primary key, given that the key is the one we chose, namely M, Y. Because if the key was something else, then it could be possible that we cannot deduce any of this information. Like, for example, if we only know P, then it would not be in 1NF because we cannot deduce the rest of the information by only P.
Are there no multi-valued attributes, or do we assume that?
Well, we don't really know. Well, here they say actually it's model number, year, price, factory, color. So, yeah, this makes...
I mean,
Well, maybe
the
you can have
color can
multiple
be
colors.
multiple. Yeah, you can have,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
then we are done already, right? If it's like you say, yeah, there are multiple colors, then it's already not in 2NF and
Well,
also
if
not.
it's not in 2NF and it's not in 1NF, then it's not in 2NF and 3NF.
Yeah,
But
yeah, then we're done. But
Yeah, do we just say we assume that there are only atomic values for the right
Yeah,
answer?
I think you can
we
just
can
say
say we can explain it with yeah, there are maybe multiple colors, so we don't know.
Well, I mean, it says color is singular, so you can't really say.
yeah, okay, it's just color singular, so we'll take that as to that is atomic. Yeah.
Fair enough.
You always call it like singular.
Yeah. If you have
If
like
we had
multiple
to-
values in the side of a thing, you say like years if there can be multiple, or colors, or
Okay.
factories. So, yeah. 2NF. Well, it's certainly not in 3NF. Let's say let's say that for sure, because there is some transitivity here. Namely, M can for C we need F, and for F we need M.
It's also not 2NF.
Isn't
because
that
for F
yes?
you only need M?
Yeah, exactly. No, it is not in 2NF because F is only dependent on part of the primary key. Or it's only dependent on part of the primary key. And for something to be in 2NF, everything within that table has to be dependent on the complete primary key.
You have to say part of the candidate key, right? Or-
Yeah, okay, fair.
What's the difference between candidate and primary key?
It's just like you have a list of candidate keys and you pick one, and that's the primary key.
Yeah.
But we've already here said given that the key is the one we chose, so I'm just gonna say that also counts for the next one. I'm gonna get a
Could
drink.
M, Y, and P be a candidate key?
I'm not sure. I don't think so, because candidate keys have to be minimal. Is
So
that
essentially
correct,
there's
guys?
only one candidate key?
I think at this
Otherwise, it's a super key or something.
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I think a candidate key has to be minimal. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I think.
In that case, how could there be multiple candidate keys?
If there's two things that have the same amount of things, like they're equally the same, so you just choose one of them as
And if
primary.
it's circular,
say M, from M you can get Y and P, and from P you can get Y and M. Then M is a candidate key, and so is P.
Well, I think candidate keys can be of any size. It's just that the minimal size candidate key is best suited for the primary.
That could be as well.
Yeah, I think
By the way, I don't know what you said about the exam answers, but like I was just checking the solution, and it says like M and Y are the candidate keys, and this like explanation is because F and C depend on M, which is the like subset of the candidate key. That's why it's not in 2NF. I think the candidate key is like the key which like you need to identify all the other ones. Like
yeah, true. It's fair because like the designer of the thing has not yet chosen it, and therefore it is not yet primary, I guess. But we'll change it to candidate key and be done with it. But yeah, it's not 2NF because F is only dependent on one part of the primary key, namely M. So yeah, and then we'll say no because it is not in 2NF.
Is F implies C also an example of partial dependency?
Partial dependency?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Can somebody else in the chat, like, does anyone in the chat know this?
Well, F is partially dependent on M, so
it's transitive, not like partial.
It's transitivity.
Yeah, it's like C is transitively dependent on M. I think what it might be is that P is partially dependent on M because it's also partially dependent on Y. But that's just I haven't learned that definition yet, or I don't really know what partially dependent means. That's just like logically speaking, it would make sense if. So I'm not sure if that's correct, but that's what I think it would be.
Partially dependent means that it's dependent on only one part of the primary key.
Yeah.
Only on M or only on Y. P would not be partially dependent.
It's dependent on a strict subset of the candidate key.
Yeah, okay. So P would be partially dependent on the candidate key, and wait, did I say that right?
No, it will not be partially dependent.
Sorry. F is partially dependent on the primary key because it's dependent on a part of the primary key. That makes sense. So that's what I said here as well. Because F is only dependent on part of the primary key, or of the candidate key in this case. So yeah. Consider the decomposition from refrigerator into a relation 1 between M, Y, and P, a relation 2 between M, F, and C. Is this decomposition lossless? Show why. Yes. The second part is a lot harder. As for the show why part of the question. So we know that it is lossless because this thing still holds. M and Y in how do you say that? M and Y can deduce P. P is functionally dependent on M and Y. There we go. And C is functionally dependent on F is functionally dependent on M, and these two things both can happen in their own table. So there's no like data loss here that that happens. I think
if you only had that single line though, how would you go back to the table? Because like for relationship 1, you need M and Y, so you need 2 to get 1, and then the second one you need 1 to get another one. Like how would you go back from that one?
This table is not yet 3 in F, but it is 2 in F.
Yeah.
Okay.
To have it in 2 in F would be like R1 of M, Y, P, R2 of M, F, and maybe R3 of F, C. So this will be in 3 and F, because there's no transitively dependent things. But this one is still in 2 and F, but it doesn't mean that it's not a lossless composition.
Wait, so it is lossless because it's 2NF?
No, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with it. But there was somebody who asked a question about that.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But yeah, if you want to get back from this, you just combine the table.
Does your key always need to be a relation? Like I saw that on the last exam, they always have the key as a own relation. Like M and Y would be a own relation then. But
What do you mean F and Y?
no, M and Y.
Like just M and Y?
Yeah. That like in a previous mock exam, like mock exam 1, there was.
Well, if you're looking at what we did, I didn't know that much back then. I did not like understand it as well as I did now, so I could very well have made a lot of mistakes. So I don't know if you saw it in the answers or in what we did, but what we did.
Yeah, in the answers, like more.
All right. Can you like look it up and send it to me because I don't quite understand what
Yeah.
you're saying yet? And I think like just seeing it would make more sense for me.
You can put that according to Heath's theorem or whatever it is called. It also kind of specifies that it is this decomposition is lossless. Heath's theorem or whatever it was called.
Heat theory?
HEATH theorem. It was one of the slides for lecture on normalization, and it basically explained probably pretty much the same thing.
I probably missed that slide then.
Wait, what? What is it called?
There was a theorem about lossless decomposition.
Okay,
I don't remember the slide name, but it was in the normalization lecture.
I'm gonna quickly finish this one up and then go on because we still need to write some SQL statements, and we only have 15 minutes left. So I'm gonna say yes. Every relation is still contained within the tables. And within let's say every functional dependency. Dependent. How the fuck do you spell that word, dude? Jesus. Oh, it's just these. Okay. Within the two relations here. Okay. Close enough. Oh yeah, okay. So let me actually open that up on my screen real quick. So this is what Jeroen sent me. So basically that the candidate keys also have to be in their own relationship. And well, that's more just in this case because first of all the data has to be in a relationship somewhere anyways. And here, like they had the table R A B C D E, and they took the relationship B implies CD. They took that out of that table, so then you have the table with all the stuff that's left. Left.
Do you guys understand like a third one and then with two options, like
this one?
Yeah, that one, and then the option 2. Like I don't really understand like how B C D can be like a relation. Like
let's have a look. So from C we can get to AD. From C we can get to AB, and from AD we can get to E. Well, okay, we know that if we can get from AD to E, then we can get from. Wait, give me a sec.
Like if I drew that, then it's like.
You also know that A determines B, C, D, and E. I think, right? Because that's on top of the page.
Well, no, this is like it's just.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's only though.
My bad.
Okay, so let's see. We know that C determines AB, so that means that C determines A and C determines B. Therefore, if we have C, we have B. Oh, if we have C, we have A. And with A and D, you can get no, but that would make.
But that's transitive, like.
Yeah, that would make sense here. Well, yeah, it can be transitively, but yeah, no, it cannot because.
So
then,
yeah.
It's also here. I do not understand this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish off this exam and then later I'm gonna come back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna say every functional dependency is still contained within the two relations here. So that's probably the best explanation I can give. If anybody has any other idea, let me know. But this is the best that I can come up with. Okay. Cool. So we have a schema. Okay. So we have an apartment, which is okay. An apartment can be rented by an occupant, and an apartment is a type, and an apartment is within a building. Okay, so that's all the relationships. Furthermore, we have a rental, which can be done by an occupant into an apartment. Occupant has a name and a nationality. Rental has a from date, end date, and the foreign keys that I mentioned just now. An apartment has a rental ID, or an apartment ID. Sorry. It has a what's it called? A footprint in square meters, a price, a max an amount of max occupants, a building type which has a name and a description, and a building ID which has a name and an address in a city. Okay. List the apartment IDs of all non-shared studios that will not be occupied after the end of January 2019. Okay, so I find always a good place to start here is they say select all the apartment IDs. Okay, so we need the apartment IDs. So select apartment ID from apartment. Okay, then you have a maximum capacity of 1. So we say where max occupant is equal to 1. Dude, I've been talking so much, my throat is getting sore. That will not be occupied after the end of 2019. Okay, so what we want here is we want all the apartment IDs, where whatever with max occupants, and the rental for that apartment. The end date of that is see that are it will not be occupied. So and the end date is before. Well, I mean, okay. So with Crowdfoot notation, there's this thing. So every rental has to have an apartment, but an apartment does not have to have a rental. I think the way they would want us to do this is just from apartment, comma. Actually, maybe it makes sense to think about the about inner join, left join, right join here. Would it though? You know, I think we can just do an inner join. Yeah, whatever. From apartment, comma rental on or where max occupant is 1 and rental dot a underscore id is equal to apartment underscore a underscore id or dot a underscore id. Do they both use a underscore id? They do. And also notice that now that we've introduced rental dot a underscore id, this is ambiguous now. So now we have this also say rental dot or apartment dot a underscore id from apartment rental where max occupant is 1, or in this case we should probably say, you don't technically have to say that apartment dot max occupant is 1. You could also just say max occupant is 1, but I think it's more useful to say it like this, because yeah, then you know like from what which thing is. And we can also say and rental dot end date is less than after the end of January. So we can say it's less than 1/2/2020.
Also, it says it only wants views, so maybe the type would be view.
Oh, that could be true as well. Let me have a look. Every apartment can have a type, namely loft, single room apartment, shared house room, etc., and a specific building. is this thing running again? Yeah. I guess it makes sense that we should also have the type of studio. So we should also have comma studio and thing and let's see. So we have and apartment dot type ID is equal to oh shit, this should be type, not studio. Type dot t underscore ID and type dot name is equal to studio. I'm gonna indent this real quick because this looks hella ugly.
But wait, they are telling us that maximum capacity is 1. Then why we need to like put another thing like type? Why do we need to involve them? Like, why do we need to involve type table if we already specify that maximum capacity is 1?
Well, they want non-shared, so maximum capacity of 1, and they want studios.
So
I think those two are different things. I think this is like a badly worded question because it can be up to interpretation, but I think.
Yeah, you're right. So...
Okay. Show the number of apartments where all rental contracts are signed by occupants of the same nationality. Oh god.
By the way, this is actually badly phrased, I think.
Yeah, they made a mistake.
Yeah, it should be buildings, right? Then.
No, they wanted to do to count the number of occupants per every single nationality, but they phrased it wrongly. They made like a mistake or something like that.
Okay. I'm gonna assume that. So.
I'm sorry, but I do not understand why didn't you use join in the previous.
Well, this is actually okay. Let me actually clear this up because there are some people who still don't understand it. So saying from apartment, comma rental, comma type is this exact same as saying from apartment inner join rental on, and now we put the joining condition here, but you cannot. But in this case, you would have to put it here. Inner join type on this thing.
Oh, okay.
So these two queries are syntactically different, but semantically exactly the same.
Okay, thanks.
We only need to know inner join, right? No left outer join.
Well, it can be. I think you know left and outer join, right? Or.
Yeah, but it's not that I would just watch a YouTube video if you don't understand.
Yeah, it's not that complex.
And also, I think the rental end date would be 2019, right?
Oh yeah. That's a good one. We get it. Yeah. I'm getting a DM from presenting Falcon. So he's asking, is it possible to say end date less than 1/2/2020? It's not an int or double. Can we compare dates? Yes, in SQL you can compare date. So you can just say date less than and then another date. Given that it is in the format that the SQL client that you're using wants it, and I think like the normal SQL client takes dates in this format. However, I don't think like if you put slashes or you put it in another way around, whatever, I don't think they're gonna complain. But this is, I think, how a normal SQL format does it.
Why do you even need the join in this one?
Because we cannot. We need information from the type table. We need information from the rental table, and we need information from the apartment table. And if you don't join,
oh yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah.
If you don't join it, then it's not gonna happen. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that they here say for every nationality we want this stuff. So I'm gonna say group by occupant.nationality. This makes the most. Also, don't forget your semicolons. Really important. So now we know that for every nationality. Let's see. So where all rental contracts are signed by occupants.
So the key, I don't know. Did you want to do the one they meant you to do, or because the one they wanted you to do was show for every nationality the number of apartments rented by occupants having this nationality. So it's something completely different from what that says.
Oh, so it's of that nationality.
Well, it's not really comparing. Wait, maybe I can send it to you.
Like, did they put a formal correction out there, or?
Yeah, they put. I'll send it to you, right?
All right. Man, whenever I'm like talking to a stream, I instinctively talk like really loud, and I actually kind of hurt in my throat. Give me a sec. I'll get a bit of water. I'll be right back. Won't be long.
Cool.
Ah, much better. All right. So they put like a thing out there saying, "Hey, this is bad phrasing. We were accepting other queries as well." Like in the answer sheet, then. All right. So let's see. Yeah, let's make the query a lot easier then. So we need information from the occupant table. We need information from the apartment table, and because of that, we also need information from the rental table. So let's see. We need from occupant. I'm expecting a call from work, but I haven't gotten it yet. Occupant, comma. What else do we need? Rental, comma, apartment, where occupant dot o underscore id is equal to rental dot o underscore id, and rental dot a underscore id is equal to apartment dot a underscore id. Okay. What do we need? All the where all rental contracts are signed by occupants of the same nationality. So then we need count apartment.a underscore id. So we want the count of all the apartments. Well, I guess really, then we don't really need the apartment table itself because we can just count the rental.aid. Okay, so we have the number, and they want it for every nationality. So I'm just gonna put occupant.nationality in there. Okay, so we want the so we have the nationality and the number of rented out, number of apartments that are rented out to that nationality. From occupant, rental, where we join the two tables with an inner join, and also we group by nationality, so it's per nationality. Also, when you're using a group by, everything inside of the select query either has to be an aggregate, so like this thing, the count, or it has to be included within the group by. That's something that like I saw when messing around with assignment 3. Yeah, if you don't do that, the PostgreSQL or just SQL in general is going to be upset. I mean, syntactically, it doesn't make much sense either, but, you know, the worst thing is that the software is screaming at you. I think this query should be correct. If anybody has anything I did wrong or knows anything better than this, let me know, but I think this should be correct. Wow, that's a lot easier than the top one. We take those. For each building...
Isn't it gonna count all the rental contracts if you do this? Instead of all the apartments?
Well, it's gonna count the the number of apartments. Maybe the thing is where we should put distinct here, but that depends if
Yeah, I think that would fix it actually, but also
it definitely wouldn't hurt. So
aren't you now counting all the apartments where at least one occupant is of the same nationality and not all of them?
Okay, wait. Let me read query. Show the number of apartments where all rental contracts are signed by occupants of that nationality. That's an interesting one.
The question itself is quite a bit vague, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it really is. All rental contracts are signed by occupants of that nationality. So therefore, we would also have wait. All rental contracts are signed by. But we are already grouping by occupant of nationality. This question is so fucking vague, man. I swear to God. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this and go to the next one. We are already out of time. But yeah.
I mean, you can at least add 10 minutes because you were explaining stuff before you stopped the timer for about 10 minutes.
That's
so you
true.
would still have like 3 minutes left on exam time.
That's true, and like without like usually, I talk a lot to you guys. You guys ask a lot of questions, and in the actual exam, I wouldn't have to answer those. And of course, I don't mind it. It's just that it's gonna take a subtraction time from it, indeed. Okay, for each building, show the average price of apartments larger than 80. So, okay, we want to know select. I think this is an aggregate. Correct me if I'm wrong. So average building dot or apartment dot price. I think we can do this. Oh. Select the average apartment price from apartment comma building where apartment dot a underscore id or b underscore id is equal to building dot b underscore id. So is that correct? Yep. So now we have and then we of course group by building underscore dot b underscore id because that's the private key. Okay, so now we have the average price
and
all
then
the
where
buildings. And then we
we
also
also need to 80 square meters, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, wait. So the average price of apartments larger than 80 meters. So the thing is, do we put that in having or in where? So I think in where.
Yeah, probably where, because it refers to an individual apartment, not to the group.
Exactly. So we say where building .id is equal to apartment ID and apartment dot square meters is bigger than 80. Is it called exactly square meters? Yep. And we got dot semicolon. List all the IDs of the apartment that were never rented. So that means we need to get the list of all A underscore IDs that is not in. Ooh, there's a really easy way to do this, like a really easy way. I'm not sure if that's the way they want me to do it, but I'm gonna do it this way anyways, and then see if there's other ways that you guys want me to do it. So first of all, we need to select all the apartment IDs from apartment. So this is the bulk of the query. But we also want where apartment ID not in. And here we create a new query. Select. So this is a composite query, I think it's called. Or a subquery, I think. So I'm gonna say select AID from rental. Yeah, I think this should be correct. So let's say, okay, give me the list of apartment IDs that are rented, so that are in rental. And then give me the list of apartment IDs in apartment, where apartment ID is not part of the rental.
Should you also check where the starting date is not 0 or 0, I mean?
Well, starting date or from date is actually a primary key, so it cannot be null.
Okay.
But even then, there's no reason for you to put in a rental that is not. Yeah, there's no reason to put in a rental that doesn't have a starting date. Like, you
Yeah,
cannot
true
say,
that.
okay, there's gonna be a rental sometime ever. Okay, there's also another way to do this.
Could you also do like except, set difference? Probably pretty much the same. Like where not just select from and then accept and your subquery.
Wait, what?
Except like set difference, symmetric difference, whatever. You just like substitute like the line where you have where not in by just accept, which just basically gets all IDs and then accept, yeah, like E, yeah. But you do not put like where. So basically we'll just like multiply all, no, not multiply, but remove all IDs that have like rentals.
So like this.
Yeah, kind of this.
That's an interesting syntax. I didn't know that one yet. Let me actually let me take this, copy this. Okay, now I'm. Ah. Okay, so I'm gonna have both of them from rental. So there's two ways to do this way and this way, I think then. Also, the reason I'm putting like multiple versions of stuff in here is just for like you guys' illustration. It's not like you can enter multiple things and hope that one of them is correct. But it's just to like be able to explain stuff to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna take the W. Say that this would be within time if we or if I didn't have to explain stuff or discuss stuff. However, I would also get a way lower grade because you guys corrected me a few times on stuff that I did wrong. So let's actually have a look at the answers now, because this looks absolutely sick. I'm really proud of what we did in 1.5 hours. But now the question is,
Yeah.
does any of it make sense?
This should be like an 8.5 at least, right?
Hopefully.
I mean, the pass rate is 96% or something.
That is true. However, that could also be because of database or or because of web. I don't think it is because everyone who I've heard talk about web actually complains about it. But it could
Last
be
year they made you make a multiplayer game.
that, honest to God, making a multiplayer game in JavaScript sounds fucking sick.
Sure, but it also sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. It does. Oh wow! Look, this actually. Okay. So let's start it over here. So they have roommate width, but we have sleep width. That's okay. All these are correct. I don't think they actually put in the if they've given permission for the thing. I think that's bullshit. I think you should be able to like put a boolean, namely if he's given permission or not.
Between camper and activity, they have n on both sides.
Between camper and activity over here.
Yeah, instead of m and n, they have n on both sides.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought it wasn't allowed. Turns out it is. Excusez-moi, boys.
I mean, I asked the TA about cardinality, and they just said end to end is fine. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually used n to n on both sides. Also in the damaged and uses rotations.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not that consistent.
Like your thing sounds clear, I guess, but end to end is also accepted.
Okay, cool. Then just use end-to-end if you want. I think end-to-m is also accepted then. We'll see. They also made activity a weak entity. That's really cool because that's what I was worried about. Okay, so let's see. A camper can use a facility and get fined for a facility. So that's here. So that makes sense as well. The users has a date time and... Well, okay, they have a date and a time. You can have a date time as well. Fair. Facility has a code, a name, square meters, and description. Yep. A C2 is responsible for. That's what we had as well. We had that a facility has to be forcibly responsible for. They don't have that, but that's just a design choice, I guess. I'm not sure they would deduct points for that.
We don't have at all like total participation based on what I see. Like,
No, actually, it doesn't matter. I spoke with the TA about this, and they said that it doesn't really matter if we do it with 1 or 2 lines.
Wait,
Okay,
which
cool.
one?
So they don't worry about total participation at all.
Here. Oh, they do
Wait,
here.
what?
I thought you were talking about the staff member types.
Well, I mean, like here at all. Like
Shouldn't
even
there-
between these two, I don't see a double line, which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely weird.
Yeah, I think they just don't use double lines at all. However, I think that if you use double lines, then it shouldn't be a problem. But
You should use double lines,
Exactly.
but
there should really be a double line between activity and
yeah,
organizers.
definitely. It's probably a mistake in the solution.
I mean, if we don't do it and we say like, yeah, it was not also like in mock exam 2 solution.
Don't like. Yes, you will be right, but it's a
Yeah.
battle you're losing.
Yeah. Okay.
So just try to do what's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just use
Okay.
double lines and
So
then.
yeah, we have organized by the activity staff. We have so this one. Okay, yeah, the facility staff is C2, so this one is responsible for. That's this one. C1 is takes care of. Hey, we even have the same name there. Oh.
So when exactly do you use the double lines?
Hmm?
The double lines means total participation, right?
Yeah, so that's when a relationship has to exist.
Okay, yeah.
When it cannot be 0.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Shouldn't one of the activity things and the answers be total participation? Because otherwise you can have an activity which is like doesn't have a connection to anything, but it's a weak entity, right?
Yeah, I think it should actually be a double line. That's really dumb. Okay, cool.
I don't
Better
think
than
there
that,
can
for
be
sure.
a weak entity without a double line. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, maybe they are double lines, but we just cannot see them. No, that's not the case. I
The
don't know.
serial number should be partial keyword.
Yeah, serial number should be a partial key. I'm not sure. Yeah, they just use the full line. That should be a
It's probably a mistake.
Yeah, it's probably a mistake as well. Dude, why are we making it better than them?
Yeah, send it
Or
as a solution.
Or maybe the way they did, they didn't actually export it in a good way to a docx file, and maybe it
Yeah,
got
that's
lost
true.
for
It
some
could
reason.
be a thing with exporting. Let's see. For them, all the cardinalities of campers are n except for the sleeps with. That's 1, so that makes sense. I think we might just get full points for this. Yeah, used by. Yeah, they also have like attributes of relationships, which is good. Yeah, maybe they won't like this, but apart from that, I see like everything I see makes sense and seems like it would give full points. Okay, that's
Our fine is a little bit different. They actually did not have. They did damage and then attached a fine to it as just I mean, I guess that's a fine solution.
Yeah, we chose to put a date time here, but
Yeah.
that's like a decision. I like.
We also don't have uses.
Well, we do just use by here.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no
It kind of seems like they didn't think about everything when they made it.
Yeah, like we spent like 45 minutes on this, so.
Yeah, I
And
think for
also,
exam times,
one camper can I think there's a mistake in our solution.
Which one?
One camper can only use one facility.
What do you mean? So.
It is one to many instead of a many to many.
Oh yeah, I see. Well, that's also just a design choice then, I guess. Because like we can say that when you're renting a facility, that you can only use one, but I guess they decided that you could use multiple. But that's not necessarily in a test. Or that
Well,
wasn't necessarily
I would
next
say that it's a mistake because that way, one camper can only use one facility in his entire life.
Yeah.
No, because we had a
the
daytime.
The daytime isn't a ID.
It would have to be. It isn't a separate entity, though. I would say that it cannot be.
Wait, if
Yeah.
daytime is an ID, then
Well,
is it correct then, or?
Well, it can't be because it's a relation, but if it
Oh, yeah.
would be, yeah, then.
When you convert
then it
that
would be
into a
unfair.
table, our relation would have uses facility in the camper table, and that would only lead to one facility. So it would not be possible.
I guess
I mean, like, it's passing grade for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
I'll subtract 1 point in the end. We'll take the W. Okay, the logical schema. Are you fucking... Ugh, okay, cool. They just don't give a solution. We have to download it soon. I'm gonna look at the rest first. No, it is not because... Huh? F does not depend on C. What?
F
What?
doesn't... Wait, what?
Oh, that's a mistake.
I was about to say,
I
this
think
is
that
wrong.
copied
This is...
C.
It is factually correct that M and Y, with M and Y, you can get all the other info.
Yeah, this is because they use the weird top one, right? They
Oh,
use
yeah,
the
MP
function
or
of M
something.
is in the question instead of in the...
Yeah. I guess that they use this one instead of that one. I think this is actually like somebody made this during a mentor session. Because they said, yeah, we agreed on it in the class. Like, yeah, no, thank you, but I don't really fucking... Okay, it is not because M and F depend on C. Yeah, okay, that's what we said. Because it's only dependent on part of the candidate key. And then we said no because it's not in 2NF. Yep. And it is... yeah, all the dependencies are still contained within. Yep. Cool. They actually also fixed it, so they had M into F as well here.
Wait, so what does it
Or,
mean when it's lossless?
sorry, M into... Wait, huh? Do they, not only did they have a different one than what it says, they have a different one from what we had as well. So what they did is they have the three things, namely... Oh wait, no, never mind. So they had M implies F, F implies C, and MY implies P. So that's the same things we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so then they yeah, we just had the same thing. So that's correct.
Some TA probably made this in the 10 minutes before a mentored session.
Yeah, they did. Select. Oh my God! Why? No! Don't do this. If you're working with like multiple things, don't say from type T apartment A. Like you can, but it's gonna get so much more confusing. Like sure, it takes more time to type out apartment dot, but where t.tid equals a.tid and a.iid is r.iid r and fuck off.
I think it depends on if you have to reuse one. Because right now T is always type, A is always apartment, so it's fine, right? But if you had two with an A, then you would need like A1, A2 or something, and then it gets confusing.
Yeah, and even then, I think it's just better to have rental dot end date. Like, yeah, it's more typing, but also wait. The end of January. This is the end of 2020, so this is the start of January. This is wrong.
Massive amount of effort went into this. Don't worry about it.
Oh
It's wrong on multiple levels. It's equals.
They also ignore the maximum
here.
It's equal.
Yeah, it's wrong on two words.
Oh my God.
It's their job to confuse us. Remember?
Yeah, that's true.
Remember what CO taught us?
That's true.
I was wrong. They didn't make it in 10 minutes before a mentored session. They made it in 5 minutes before a mentored session.
Yep. And here, this query at least is the same. So we had the same thing as this.
But wait, we have
learned that doesn't necessarily mean it's right, though.
That's true. Here they do make a good point because, well, they say for each building show the average price. They didn't say to also include the building ID, but here they do. I guess. But then you should have said that. They should like say for each building show the ID and the average price of apartments larger than. Yeah, and for the rest everything here is the same as well.
Wait, could you show please our B solution? Could you please show our B solution, B query? Yeah, we have distinct and they don't have it. Is it something?
But theoretically, since rental.aid is a private key anyways, they have to be. It's a part of a private key, so it. Wait, so we're looking at A underscore ID. So the thing is, by saying distinct, we are looking at apartment IDs that are not the same, but I guess that apartment IDs, like you can only rent.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't do the count and just this will only query all the IDs in this certain wait. I mean, there shouldn't be any same IDs anyway if you remove distinct, right? It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, true. I guess it doesn't matter if you include it or not then. I don't know. I genuinely don't. Let's have a look at D first. Select AID from apartment. Yeah, they did the accepting. Except they did
Why would they do that?
Yeah, because like if AID is in a rental, then it is per definition rented. Like it's not like
Yeah, it cannot exist. That's
the only thing that could happen if that. No, wait, it couldn't. I was about to say that maybe if they like destroy the building, then the apartment doesn't exist, but their contract still does. But that doesn't. No, that's not true either because we know that this is a foreign key. So
yeah, exactly. It's foreign key.
We
And
cannot
it's
delete an apartment as long as there is a rental with its ID. So
it's also part of the primary key, so it cannot be no.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, that's
And
so
even
weird.
if it could be no, it's not an issue.
Yeah, exactly. Like, our thing would be correct. Ugh. That's yeah, I have seen better answer sheets.
I think you expressed that a bit lightly.
A bit. Let's actually have a look at the at this one, DB mentored section in Brightspace. Mentored section materials. DB.
This one is one of the slides, like week 3 or something, like extra slides, and for ER modeling, something like that, and it was one of the examples there.
Wait. So in DB mentored sessions, they have a few things. They also have the class example bike note, logical relation schema examples.
It's the examples one, the logical relational schema examples.
So it's this one.
Yeah, it's that one.
So we are looking at the example.
You have to go down. Like,
yeah, but I'm first looking at like which one it was. So we're looking at the soccer one. Soccer tournament. So.
The answers.
Okay, so they have a match with an ID. Oh my god, it looks dirty as fuck. They have a match with an ID, a date, a start time, a score, a referee, and a stadium. And here we can see as well that this references stuff. Then they have a player. Well, they here use player underscore team to identify who is part of which team.
Yeah, contract. Basically.
I think you could. Oh yeah, we use contract for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
I think this is another. It's not the same assignment. Like here, seats are also in a stadium.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I think this might be the same assignment except for the seats. Yeah, I think apart from that, there's still a few differences. Like referees don't have cities and bird name, but I think most of them is still all the same. So they use the player name, surname, and team name as the primary key here, which is interesting. But whatever, we'll take it. I think ours would also be correct, as long as you're motivated. And if it's not, then we can, like, if they say that this will be incorrect, I would definitely send an email to them asking why, because this should be correct. Furthermore,
Well, in TA sessions, they said they will be very lenient with correcting databases.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially because, like, for some of these things, it's just it's not wrong, it's just different than what they have, and that, like, especially when the questions are really vague, You can have multiple things.
Yeah, there's just so many right answers that they just if it's good enough, they just say it's right.
Yeah. Also, another thing I noticed is that they didn't really tell us how many points everything is, which is interesting. But now we cannot really check what what our grade is or what the points that we have is, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, we had, I think, almost all of the queries correct. We had this all correct. We had this is practically correct, yeah. And we had like maybe 1 or 2 mistakes here, but you know that's still probably a 9 or higher. We'll take the W. Yeah, that's really all I had planned for today. I don't know if there are any questions.
I have one question, but that's not about database. That's about this ON complexity where, as you probably said, you made a mistake. Could you please explain why it is a mistake? Because I don't really get it.
I will explain that after I'm done. I've stopped the recording for the YouTube thing. Let me first see if there's anyone else with who have any questions about any of the database stuff.
Yeah, so we can use like lucid charts during the exam, right?
Yeah, people are saying yes, and I think that like, yeah, you can use lucid chart, you can use paper.
You can use anything, but it's not recommended to use programs because it takes a lot longer than paper.
Yeah, especially like if you need to find something and you spend like time bug fixing the program, especially on an exam where I think time is going to be a really big issue because we practically went overtime. And we have like, what is it, 50 people in the chat here? So
I mean,
I wouldn't. If you're really good in Lucidchart and you know for a fact that you're faster with Lucidchart than hand, go ahead.
Theoretically, you still got like a couple 5 minutes, like 5 minutes after you finish the exam, because they give you some time to upload the stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So you could use that as well, I guess, but...
Yeah,
you could choose it by doing the other stuff first, and then just giving yourself like 10 minutes extra to work on the main thing, and then you have 5 minutes to upload. But if you mess up the upload, then unlucky.
Yeah, I wouldn't... Like, I would try to just get everything done in 1.5 hours.
Yeah, that's a big risk.
Yeah.
Wait, can you upload multiple times or only one final end? Like, for the...
I'm not sure.
That's a good one.
I'm assuming that once the time has passed, you can only upload once more because otherwise it looks like you're working past the time of the exam.
Yeah, but what if you upload something and then you find out you uploaded the wrong thing? Like, you would have to be able to upload another one.
Yeah.
So,
After the
if
time.
they allow multiple uploads, which would be the logical thing, I assume you could upload multiple things after the time slot ended.
Otherwise, you could just send an email that you sent the old version and just email the new version within the time limit and then just go with that.
By the way, if you can't manage to upload the PDF in time, definitely email it to them as soon as possible. Don't ask them to email to them. Just send it straight to them.
Yeah, like
immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have at least sent them an email with it before the time is up, you still have some legibility. Like, of course, they might not be lenient and just say, okay, you didn't upload it in time, whatever. But there is a chance then, if they don't have it in their inbox before the end of the time, either in Brightspace or by email, you have to reset.
Yeah. If you email them and say something like, I couldn't upload it, can I send it to you? And they email and they respond like 2 hours later, they are not going to allow you to email to them.
Yeah. Exactly. So just send it in your first email if it's not working. Then
Yes,
again,
if it's not working,
it should probably work, but just in case.
I have a question about your other
got
stream.
screwed that way on the OOP exam.
Yeah. Somebody else I heard had a question?
Yeah, about your other stream. Like, during this one, you said you did the first one, but you made a lot of mistakes. Is it worth watching that one, or should I just do it myself?
I'd honestly say just do it yourself, because, like, I was hoping a lot of people in the chat would be able to correct me, but there were not that many people in the chat, and I just didn't understand like, let's say, both SQL, because I hadn't done SQL yet, and also the functional dependency part, like here. I didn't understand that one. So while I did make like the first two questions really, I think probably well. I didn't do the last two well at all. So
Okay.
if you want to, I would say do it yourself. Actually, I'd say do it yourself anyways, because getting practice for yourself instead of watching me do it is really important as well.
I mean, I did it alongside for most of it this time.
Yeah,
but I
okay,
mean,
that's
is your other video worth watching, or is it kind of useless right now?
If you've already seen this one, I would just say do it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you like do the question I sent you, like the one in the beginning somewhere? I don't know. Like from the mock exam one.
Let's see. The so the one about functional dependencies.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I could. However, I think I'm not gonna do that on the recording. So I'm gonna cut the recording now. If you have any questions about anything, send me a thing on WhatsApp, send me a thing on Discord, and I hope you guys have a nice day.